The other day we talked about, and we'll link to his site in here as well. We talked about that lawsuit being dismissed from the U.S. women's soccer team, and they were suing, I can't remember if it was the World Cup organization or the Olympic organization or both, but basically they were claiming that women make less than men, and, Megan Rapinoe got to go talk about the White House about this, and then Biden, parroted her message, and it was all bullshit. The lawsuit got thrown out because it turned out that the women did not get paid less than men. They just got paid differently with benefits. And we'll relink to what I was talking about, because I wasn't really talking about that issue. Nate, the lawyer, who's on YouTube as well, had a great video breaking that down. So I'll just let him do that. Go watch his 15-minute video. What I was talking about more is I just really dislike the mass media, the traditional media, the CNNs, the Fox News, the MSNBC, because they choose to tell their narrative through the stories they choose to pick up, right? Now, any reporter in the country could have done some basic fact finding, read the lawsuit, interviewed a lawyer, and been like, oh no, this is all baseless. The women's team does not make less than the men's team. But that doesn't fit the narrative for the left-leaning media, and the right-leaning media just dismisses it as no, you're stupid, you don't understand basic economics, and nobody's actually doing the reporting, right? No journalist is actually being a journalist, and it sure as hell is not making it to any of the, important news outlets. However, remember, two things can be true at the same time. Two things can be true at the same time. I can be the type of person who dislikes Megan Rapinoe. We got to look at how to pronounce her name, because I feel bad. I don't know who she is. I'm sure she might be a lovely person, but I can disagree with her politics. I can disagree with her taking a knee during the national anthem and think that's kind of disgusting. I can disagree with the way she talks about the pay gap and inequality, because just a basic understanding of economics gets rid of that theory, and we can put that to bed. Women do not get paid 76 cents on the dollar, 73 cents on the dollar, 82 cents on the dollar for men. That's just not true when you actually adjust for all the stuff that's in that economic data that tends to lead to that ongoing confusion and misrepresentation of men's pay versus women's pay. You can hate all that stuff about her and about how that's infected the USA women's soccer team and how it's infected some other athletes in the Olympics and represent the United States. You can hate all of that. You can even be so cynical, as I tend to be, to think hey, you know what? These guys and gals that are protesting or want to give the Black Lives Matter sign or want to, tear up the flag or want to kneel during the national anthem, you can even be so cynical, as I am, to think hey, I don't even know if they believe this stuff, but they know it's a good PR move where if you just stand up there, you embrace your medal, you're rah-rah, you got an American flag. That's a 5-second media clip on NBC. But if you take a knee and you cause a big stir, that's a 5 to 15 minute news clip, right? With the right outrage. Now everybody knows your name, and now you get invited to the White House, and now you get a, Victoria's Secret model contract. Where if you're just if you're just standard quo, wait, what is the term I'm looking for? If you're just
status quo.
Jesus, I can't talk today, man. I'm already thinking about going to the gym. If you're just status quo and you're standing up there and you're happy to win your medal, that doesn't get a lot of press. But if you're making a scene, that gets a lot of press. So if you're cynical like me, you might even believe that these people don't even believe in what they're talking about. It's just a way to further their career, get more press, get more social media, get more contracts for money. Maybe that's the case. Maybe that's not. However, two things can be true at the same time. You can think all of that about these people, and you can still root for America, right? And this is coming from the left, this is coming from the right, sorry. This is coming from the right, this is coming from the Trumps of the world, this is coming from the Ben Shapiros of the world, this is coming from all the people that somehow their dad served in the military, and so now they're personally offended by somebody taking a knee. It's it's a lot of virtue signaling from the right. A lot of times we accuse the left of virtue signaling. This is virtue signaling from the right, because look, two things can be true at the same time. Boom. You can hate all the things about the things that they're doing politically, and you can still root for America to win, right? I don't want the U.S. soccer team to go out on the pitch and lose. By the way, that's field for us Americans. Pitch if you're in Europe. I learned this from somebody who's a big soccer fan, because I'm not a big soccer fan. And you can still root for them to beat, South Korea and China and Australia and all of these teams. You can still root for American excellence, even if the individuals playing on the team, you disagree with their politics. Because here's the danger. As we fall into this more and more angry tribal conversation, the left becomes more like the things that they say they hate about the right, and the right becomes more about the things that they say about the left that they hate. And so if you're completely judging an entity based on one person's political views, then, you're not really thinking it through. Now, if you really hate it, if you feel like this deep-seated belief that, like, because I disagree so strongly with this person's political views, and because I can't stand what they're doing, and I think they're treading on USA taxpayer dollars, which I don't even know if taxpayers pay for the Olympic training. I'm guessing we do. But I can understand the argument of, like, hey, they're supposed to be there to represent America. I don't like the way they're doing it. Well, then turn it off. Turn it off. Don't comment on it. Don't circulate their name. Don't give them the light of day. And like every other news story, they'll die in 5 minutes. I actually think in a lot of ways, the right has elevated the status of these people by going after the woke warriors and, like, constantly speaking out about it. No one would even know these people's names if you don't give them the light of day and you just say, hey, I disagree with what they're doing. I'm not going to comment on them. I'm not going to repost stories about them. I'm not going to talk well about them, but I'm not going to talk shit about them. Let's just move on. And we can move on to amazing videos like what we saw from Tamyra Stock. Now, Tamyra Stock, I hold a special place in my heart because of a couple reasons. One, I used to wrestle in high school. Wasn't particularly good at it, but really enjoyed the sport, and that's kind of carried me into jiu-jitsu the last couple years, which I really enjoy. So I love watching Olympic wrestling. Two, I met my wife at a charity event for wrestlers. So there's this great program. I think they're nationwide, but they're most known in Los Angeles and New York. They're called Beat the Streets. Beat the Streets provides wrestling programs for inner city elementary and junior highs that have lost their funding for athletics. So they'll go into underserved areas, which are usually, either challenging socioeconomic areas, frequently places of people of color, brown, black, whatever the case may be. And they go into these schools and they start wrestling programs and they try to teach, good physical fitness and good health habits and team camaraderie and a sport that they can then maybe play in high school and maybe even get to the college level. So it's a really great program. I've donated money to them for a long time. And I went to a charity event where Tamyra and several other female USA Olympics and male Olympic athletes were at. And that's where I met my wife. So I have a really huge soft spot in my heart for USA Wrestling and for the sport. And it's super cool because Tamyra Stock is actually the first African-American black female from America to win a medal, definitely to win a gold. She's awesome. And it's impossible to find anybody who hates her after victory interview. So we're just going to watch a few seconds of it because it really reminds you why it feels special to be an American. And it really reminds you the spirit of the Olympics. So I'm just going to play it real quick. So anyway, my point is there's this theory called appreciative inquiry, and it's usually I don't know what we're there. There we go. Okay, good. There's this theory called appreciative inquiry, which basically means we can talk about problems endlessly, right? We can talk about problems endlessly. And appreciative inquiry was started by this guy, David Cooper Ryder. He went into a hospital to write, I can't remember his master's or his PhD thesis. And he's like, dude, it's a hospital. People die here. We can find endless problems. What if we just focused on what's going right? And he created this whole industry and this coaching methodology and this kind of business development methodology called appreciative inquiry. And so what I would love, and I'm guilty of this as well, right? I love talking about the negative stuff. And the negative stuff goes viral and the negative stuff gives you that dopamine hit because people comment and they like and they get in fights and you feel like you did something. But appreciative inquiry would say hey, if you dislike the Megan, USA Soccer, equal pay, yada, if you dislike all of that stuff, well, find something that's counter to that you can appreciate, right? Because if you appreciate about things and you find things that you enjoy and then you elevate that, you kind of just have a better human experience. So what I would say for any of you that can't square that, round peg in that square hole and say, yeah, I really dislike some of the things that the USA soccer team is doing, but I can also root for them because it's the USA. If you can't square that, then turn it off, don't comment it, and comment and find amazing examples you can appreciate, like this young lady it's super cool. And I'm hoping she's going to be at the next Beat the Streets gala and I can meet her there because that would be great.